Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ran some intel missions, and this time I think we're gonna go back to the old war zone we were doing a long time ago that goes to like level 100. We're gonna start that. We haven't touched that in a while, and I feel like this character can knock out a good amount. Oh. We won't be doing that because level 50 is the starting place, and 900% damage suffered is a little much. So yeah, I guess we're gonna start one of the Chaos DLCs.
I'm in the Underhive to investigate the case of mass disappearances. Talk to me.
Information schematics received from Adeptus Arbeit's operatives have been analyzed. The abduction cases indicate cult activity. Data coverage is insufficient, but this is the location where most abductees disappeared.
Until now, only the Underhive is happening. But the abductions of the units threaten the stability of the hive itself. We have no time for this.
Agreed. Current procedure is inefficient. Deploying Scryer Skull units immediately. Initiating data gnostic litanies.
I will follow the trails into the Underhive. Contact me when you have something. Blessed destruction.
Oh, between missions, or between episodes, I ended up getting this inoculator as like a weekly reward, and got this Signum. So we're gonna test it out, see what it ends up looking like. But that's about it. Got a couple other things that I swapped out. Oh yeah, there was, I think, this neural implant. Because I like... No, was it this one? There was something else that I was looking at using. I think it might have been the neural implant. The heat damage for constructs isn't the greatest, but I think it'll help this guy out. Regardless, it's still decent. And depending on how I build out Castellans later on, it might, if I'm still using it, pay for itself at that point. But like the title suggests, the predictions were right. The leaks were right. Adepticon, they announced that Lionel Johnson, the Primarch of the Dark Angels, is back. Which is pretty cool. Nice to finally have another Loyalist Primarch on the field. The model looks pretty cool. It is weird how Guilliman hasn't really aged, while Lion is old now, gray beard, gray hair. But in the end, it's whatever. It's still cool that we at least got them. I've seen a lot of people now going, okay, well, who's the next Primarch? Because that is kind of the big question now, is who's going to come after this? Because you know they're not going to just stop. We're not going to get, like, Ferrus Manus, sadly, since he's dead. But I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and guess the next one we get will be Leman Russ. Then after Russ, we'll get Corvus Corax. Then, because those two, I believe, both went into the Eye of Terror, so it would make sense to have both of them kind of come out one after the other. Then we'll have, I say, Jagatai Khan to come out of the Webway. And then, I don't remember if Rogel Dorn is even alive at this point. If he's alive, at that point I'd assume he'd come out. If he's dead, well, then we've got the Primarchs we have. Oh, and Vulcan. Vulcan will come out... I'd say Vulcan comes out probably after Corax. He'd be the fourth Primarch to come out. Because I think what we're going to see for the main kind of storyline going forward is essentially the Horus Heresy 2, where we're going to have all the traitors versus the remaining loyalists. Now with every other group of Xenos kind of getting in the middle, or to a degree with like the Eldar picking a side.
Reconnaissance ritual completed. 3 locations identified.
I think the Tyranids are going to show up probably towards the end, causing even more problems as like another big hive fleet shows up or something. Because I think you have to keep Tyranids always present. They are a looming, inevitable threat to the setting. I've seen some people say that it's the equivalent of the end times for Warhammer Fantasy. And I thought, okay, that wouldn't be bad, except Fantasy, the end times just ruined so much stuff by deleting a bunch of characters and lore. And I would hope that they don't do that. It's very difficult to kind of picture where you go from there. Do you just shatter everything? You know, you have the Chaos Gods do whatever. Vashtor ascends to godhood. Make Be'lakor a god, because why not? Have them all squabbling, throwing down, and then the Empire collapses. The Primarchs lead their own kind of small factions that essentially work together, but they're all broken up and scattered. Humanity's reverted to essentially a post-apocalypse point at this rate. Chaos doing the chaosy thing just falls to infighting.
Data agnostics are becoming extremely difficult due to interference, but there is a high probability of harmful devices.
Because that works. I'm just worried, how far do you take it?
For their sluggish processing.
Because if you introduce all the Primarchs but you don't do anything real with it, that's kind of dumb too. This all has to have some big payout. And I think the intermediate payout will be probably Vashtor ascending. They introduced him, they gotta do something with him. And I can't imagine they're going to introduce him and just make him a minor character. Simply because that's what you do with, like, God, the Bloodthirster, Kugath Plaguefather. I don't even know if Kugath... Is Kugath in 40K? I know he's in Fantasy. I can't remember. I just remember they recycled the model. And a lot of Chaos characters just kind of flip-flop between the two. But you have all these essentially heralds of a Chaos God, or at least a greater demon. So why would you make Vashtor unique if he's just going to be relegated to that? Especially giving him his own unique model. I'm not gonna get my hopes up and say, oh, we're gonna have Malice return, because as much as I'd love to see Malal just pop out of nowhere and be like, what's up, bitches, it's not gonna happen. I think Games Workshop is thoroughly not caring about ever bringing him back, tragically. Because I would have a lot of fun with that, and it'd be cool narratively, but I guess to a degree that's kind of what Vashtor exists to do. He's meant to be that kind of in-between character. I just always liked Malice's antipathy towards everything and his general hatred for chaos in general, just being like, yeah, I'm here to just destroy everything. I thought that was a fun kind of deviation from what you'd expect from a chaos god. Just being entropy. But regardless of what the future holds, it's cool to see another Primarch finally come back. It does make me wonder if they might do something with the Unforgiven.
Such a crude threat against the Inquisitor.
Because there's still a bunch of Dark Angels who had rebelled on the run. And you don't bring in the Primarch of the Dark Angels not to do something more with that storyline. Is he going to kind of set things straight and be like, hey, look, some of the guys who rebelled actually did it with good purpose? Or what the deal is? No matter how it's spun, I think it'll be interesting. Still can't believe Lacon Majoris is level 50. Didn't even realize it. I thought it started at around level 30, 35, 40.
Encounter with the enemy is by definition the mark of a higher level of intelligence.
Prefer not to walk into traps. Next time, warn me in advance.
Affirmative.
Teleport beacon in range.
Alright, let's get out of here. Anything worthwhile? No. Alright. Damn, none of the rare incubator or inoculators are even good enough to swap out. See, I can make a case. I can make a case for getting rid of it. But the loot quantity, as much as I don't care as much about that as I do loot quality over quantity, it's still nice to have it. You know, more rolls for loot. And our focus state, I don't care about focus state. I don't have anything that benefits from it. I could start building around focus state, but I don't know how long I'm going to keep this inoculator. We'll keep going with what we have for now. I can sit here and hem and haw it all I want. It doesn't change things.
This must be the lair of the Count.
Foul, lying heretics. Their blight must be undone. Purge them all.
There wasn't much else worth noting at Adepticon, or at least the preview I saw. Some new Tyranid models where it looks like Termagants are a little chunkier. That's about it. But that's fine. I think the release of Lion is kind of the big selling point here. And I don't think they would want to overshadow the return of a Primarch with anything else. I do think we'll probably see more Chaos Primarchs come back. Like, it's already been pretty well established. Like, we're getting Angron at some point. I think we'll get Fulgrim at some point, and Perturabo, but I don't think he's really that interesting. There's not much visually unique about him. But in general, I think we're going to get kind of everybody who's still around, just so we can have that big Primarch throwdown. I'd like to see the clone of Fulgrim that's currently held in Trazyn the Infinite's collection breakout. But knowing how stories in 40K go, he'd probably break out, Fulgrim would find him and kill him. I saw some people who were like, oh, I want to see Sanguinius come back. And I think they could do it because I want to say within the lore, Fabius Bile tried cloning him. Because I know he tried cloning Horus, and the Horus clones ended up like senile and crazy. So he could potentially try, and I want to say he did try cloning Sanguinius at least once or twice. But I could see that being done. It's a really lame kind of narrative thing of just, oh yeah, so clones showed up. But at the same time, at least within 40K lore, it's been established between the successful clones, there is a ton of failures. These aren't just blank slates, these are trying to be one-to-one copies of the people. And in the case of like Fulgrim, he even remembers the actual Fulgrim's betrayal and everything from that point. So it's more than just a blank slate, it's a full memory. The other option, which would be really, really stupid, would be somehow you get clones of all the good Primarchs and all the bad Primarchs, and they switch sides, and you have some goofy mirror match. So you have evil Guilliman versus good Guilliman, and all this stuff. It would be kinda cool to have all the Primarchs on each side, but it is incredibly dumb. I can't even lie and be like, oh, it's not a dumb idea at all, guys. No, it's dumb as hell. I would be embarrassed if Games Workshop did that. It'd be cool, but it'd be really bad. That's awful writing, in my eyes at least. Oh, hey, we did it. Well, we might as well search the rest of the place before we leave. But yeah. See, that kind of, oh, we have the evil version of all the good guys kind of deal. It's been done in, like, Super Sentai, so Power Rangers, where it's, oh, here's the good Rangers, but we copied them, and now we have the evil Rangers. See, it works in that context because Tokusatsu and stuff like Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, they're goofy in the first place, so it doesn't really matter. But 40K doesn't do goofy, so it would take a Herculean effort to explain that narratively and not make it sound dumb as hell. It would take like 10 Dan Abnetts together, I think, to make it work. Because there's just... I just can't. The only way off the top of my head that it could be done is you would have to have Fabius Bile get samples of all the Primarchs and successfully clone all of them and hand them over to Abaddon, which is a big if there. Then you would have to have Belisarius Cawl have samples of all the Primarchs and clone them and have his cloning work and then hand those over to Gilliman. I think it'd be easier to just have the Emperor hop up off the Golden Throne and start shucking and jiving his way to pummeling Abaddon. That is an easier story and easier narrative to spin than two sides managed to clone successfully.
Further investigation still recommended.
A cogitator. Yeah. This is a strange development. Stay alert, Tankers. I might need your help with data recovery.
As you wish, Inquisitor.
Not to mention, if you did give everybody... Well, okay, you can BS that really easy. I was gonna say, if you give everyone... you bring back all the Primarchs, who do some of these guys command?
And that's the penitence for my
But you could BS it. And, like, oh, Evil Gilliman, well, he's gonna get part of Black Legion. Because Black Legion is the Ultramarines of Chaos. Vulcan is gonna get, like... it's like the Black Dragons or something like that. They're essentially evil salamanders. Big flame user kind of guys. That would make sense. Good Magnus would probably have... I don't know. There isn't really a group that's heavily psychers, I think, anymore. You'd have to just be like, oh, hey, you get to lead just all of the librarians or something. It would be weird. Doable, but God, it'd be weird. Yeah, I'm seeing a whole lot of nothing here. This one wouldn't be bad if you could just dump the melt-a-gun shot skill for Siloy Combustors, and if it was a 5 trait. But otherwise, yeah, none of these are all too good. Oh well.
Tech priest, I couldn't help.
And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.